This is SARS-CoV-2, a microscopic invader belonging to the large and ancient family of coronaviruses, so named for the crown-like spikes that decorate its surface. These tiny spikes are not just ornaments, they're keys, tools the virus uses to open the doors of living cells. SARS-CoV-2 is the virus responsible for COVID-19, a contagious illness that primarily targets your throat and lungs, though in truth, it can reach far beyond that. But what actually happens inside your body when this invisible enemy arrives? How does something so small cause so much damage? And how do vaccines help protect you from it? To understand, we have to shrink down, far smaller than a cell, to witness a virus at work.
Every virus is, at its core, a delivery system for genetic information. It cannot reproduce on its own. It needs a host, a living cell, to make more copies of itself. SARS-CoV-2 carries a strand of RNA, which acts like a biological instruction manual. This genetic code is protected inside a hard shell made of protein and surrounded by a fatty membrane called the envelope. That outer layer is studded with spike-shaped proteins, the famous crowns of the coronavirus. These spikes allow the virus to latch onto your cells and merge its outer wall with yours, a perfect biological heist.
When an infected person coughs, sneezes, or even talks, tiny droplets filled with the virus are expelled into the air. You might breathe them in, or they may land on your hands, and from there, your eyes, nose, or mouth. Once inside, the virus travels down your airways, through your nose, throat, and into your lungs, searching for its target. Your cells are covered with receptors, and one of them, known as ACE2, is the perfect doorway. Each spike protein on the virus fits into that receptor like a lock and key. Once it connects, the virus fuses with the cell's surface and slips inside. Now, the hijacking begins. Inside the cell, the virus releases its RNA, a string of genetic code that contains all the instructions to build new copies of itself. Your cell doesn't know the difference. It begins reading the viral code and starts producing viral proteins instead of its own. While many viruses travel to the cell's nucleus to replicate, SARS-CoV-2 is more efficient. It skips that step entirely and goes straight to the ribosomes, the protein factories of the cell. Here, the ribosomes start assembling viral components: the spikes, the shells, the envelopes. Then, all those parts come together beneath the cell's surface, and one by one, new viral particles bud off, breaking free into the surrounding tissue. Each new virus repeats the process, infecting neighboring cells, multiplying exponentially, and spreading deeper into your body. At this stage, you may not even feel sick. The invasion is silent, but relentless.
The first symptoms appear when your immune system begins to realize something has gone terribly wrong. Your body's defenses spring into action. Immune cells detect viral activity and send out alarm signals, chemical messengers called cytokines. These molecules recruit white blood cells to the infected area and raise your body's temperature, causing fever, fatigue, and body aches. These sensations aren't caused by the virus itself, but by your body's efforts to fight back. A fever slows down viral replication. Inflammation traps invaders. Coughing expels mucus and debris. It's uncomfortable, but it's survival. However, if the immune response goes out of control, the same cytokines meant to protect you can begin damaging your own tissues. As the infection spreads through your airways, the virus reaches the delicate tissues of the lungs. Your lungs are made of millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. They're flexible and elastic, designed to inflate and deflate with every breath. Each alveolus is surrounded by tiny blood vessels, where oxygen moves into your bloodstream and carbon dioxide moves out. When the virus infects these cells, your immune system floods the area with white blood cells and fluid. The alveoli become inflamed and begin to fill up, making it harder and harder for oxygen to pass through. This is what leads to the shortness of breath, the coughing, and the chest tightness that many COVID-19 patients experience. As oxygen levels drop, your heart works harder to pump blood. Your muscles ache from exhaustion, and your immune system continues to pour resources into the fight, sometimes creating more damage than the virus itself. If the inflammation grows severe, the lungs can develop pneumonia, a condition where one or more lobes become filled with fluid. In extreme cases, this leads to acute respiratory distress, where breathing becomes nearly impossible without assistance. Ventilators, mechanical breathing machines, can take over that job temporarily, buying the body time to recover.
Whether a person recovers or worsens depends on many factors: age, health conditions, genetics, and timing. Younger, healthier bodies often fight off the virus before it reaches deep into the lungs. But in older or immunocompromised individuals, the virus may overwhelm the defenses completely. In the most severe cases, a phenomenon called a cytokine storm can occur, an uncontrolled flood of immune activity that damages not only infected cells, but healthy ones as well. This can lead to organ failure, as the lungs, heart, and kidneys struggle under the pressure of inflammation. But not all battles end in defeat. If your immune system manages to balance its response, antibodies begin to appear, specialized molecules built to recognize the virus's unique spikes. These antibodies bind to the virus and block it from entering new cells. Then, white blood cells sweep in to destroy the invaders. Gradually, the viral count drops. Your fever breaks. Breathing becomes easier. The body begins to heal. What's left behind are memory cells, tiny immune sentinels that remember the virus's shape. If SARS-CoV-2 ever tries to infect you again, these cells will respond faster and stronger. That's immunity. Vaccines use this same biological principle, teaching your body how to recognize the virus without making you sick. The COVID-19 vaccines don't use a live virus. Instead, they use either fragments of the spike protein or strands of mRNA that tell your cells to make harmless spike pieces on their own. Your immune system sees these pieces, identifies them as foreign, and starts producing antibodies. By the time a real virus appears, your body already knows exactly how to destroy it. This approach was revolutionary, the fastest vaccine development in modern history. Normally, vaccines take years to create, but during the pandemic, global collaboration and decades of prior coronavirus research compressed that timeline into mere months. However, as vaccines advanced, the virus evolved too. Every time SARS-CoV-2 replicates, it risks making small copying errors, mutations. Most of these mutations mean nothing, but occasionally, one changes the shape of the spike protein in just the right way to help the virus spread faster or hide from antibodies. That's how new variants, Alpha, Delta, Omicron, emerged and spread. It's an evolutionary race, human immunity versus viral adaptation. Each side learning from the other, each trying to outpace evolution itself. After recovery, most people's immune systems retain protection for months, sometimes longer. But not everyone heals completely. For some, the infection leaves behind lingering symptoms: fatigue, brain fog, shortness of breath, and difficulty concentrating. Doctors call this long COVID. It's as if the body can't fully reset after the battle ends. Researchers are still uncovering why. Some suspect fragments of the virus remain hidden in tissues, quietly triggering the immune system. Others believe inflammation damages nerves and vessels, creating slow, lasting effects. Whatever the cause, it's a reminder that even microscopic wars can leave permanent scars.
Beyond the biology, COVID-19 transformed humanity itself. It exposed our connections, how quickly a pathogen can circle the globe, how deeply our actions affect one another. It changed how we work, travel, learn, and breathe. And it reminded us that despite our technology, we are still part of nature, fragile and interdependent. The virus forced us to innovate faster than ever. Remote communication, digital healthcare, and real-time scientific collaboration. It revealed both our weaknesses and our resilience.
Today, scientists continue to monitor new variants and develop broader, universal vaccines, ones that could protect against any coronavirus strain. Others are exploring antiviral treatments and immune boosters that could stop infection before it spreads. Each discovery brings us one step closer to understanding viruses not as pure enemies, but as fundamental players in evolution itself. After all, viruses have been here long before humans, long before animals or even plants. They helped shape the DNA that makes life possible. In a strange way, the same forces that can bring illness are the ones that drive adaptation. They challenge life to become stronger, smarter, and more connected.
So, what truly happens when you get COVID-19? A microscopic organism enters your body, triggers a biological war, and forces your immune system to evolve. You suffer, you fight, you adapt, and when it's over, you're not quite the same. Your body remembers, your world changes, and life, once again, moves forward.
Stay curious, stay careful, because sometimes the smallest things in the universe teach us the biggest lessons about survival.